I think the greatest takeaway was your mission of measuring your success by the number of boats and people that you have out on the water each day. I think it's easy to lose focus on all the politics and all the other things, but really at the end of the day, getting more people on the water, getting more people out sailing is really a great measure of success.
We have a Thistle fleet, we have a Flying Scot fleet, and then we have what we call a fleet of small dinghies, which primarily consists of lasers with some sunfish.
Well, I think initially it is getting people out to the lake to see sailing, experience it, get them on a boat, give them a ride, kind of hook them on the sport. If you don't get people to the lake, we can't succeed. So that's the first thing. Don't worry so much about which boat and which race and which venue. Just get them out there to the lake, and then start to work on developing their skill and their interest in sailing.
Me? No. But do we? Yes. What's that? The club absolutely does. In fact, we have an education program. Our education program it's a laser path, okay? And it's and what he'll do is he will spend time offering practices so that people can go on the small dinghies. We're focused on our Flying Scots, and we have plenty of work to do, right? So the cabin boaters, there's cabin boaters here. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is they were inspired by this talk, right? And they're going to go out and they're going to say, well, I can invite people to come on my boat, and I can have a boat lined up.
And offer people boat rides and put them on a boat that they're not going to be afraid of, that they're going to gain confidence.
Right?
When you say cabin boaters, do you mean keelboat racing or keelboat cruising?
Both. We have a handicap racing program, and we have people who go out there and would much rather be drinking margaritas and have their little Chihuahua dog with them on a nice little path around on the lake. And you know what? If you're on my boat on a Wednesday and we see that, I mean, we're not going to say Flying Scot or die. Obviously, some people think that I do because I'm a pretty big cheerleader. But are we going to? Are we not going to refer them to Rick, the margarita drinker on the boat with the nacho dog? Yeah. No, absolutely not. We're going to refer them. If someone we have a guy at our club who's great. He comes sails with us. He's great, but he likes the thrill. He likes standing on the side of an e-scow and surfing off of the side of that little thing. I don't know why, but they like doing it.
Do you distinguish between the club and fleet activities and a school and education program, or are they all melded together and mixed up in this path?
They are melded together, and it's an interesting thing that you bring up because I think we're growing and we're trying to figure out who we are and where we want to be. We set out as part of this fleet building thing, we wanted to have a Fleet 135 brand. And we thought that was important. But every time we start thinking of ideas, everyone at the club has to benefit from what we're doing. And we want to make sure that we don't go off and become a silo and then have it be us versus somebody else and that type of thing. So it's a regular conversation because we have been successful. On one side, you can say we're a club within a club because we've been so successful. And on the other hand, every time we start talking about our things, the first thing we talk about is how we do it in terms of making the club more successful as a whole. So we have to balance those things out.
How many travels is the regattas?
A lot. We think the traveling mechanism and that is a very positive and attractive thing. At the same time, we do not want to make people feel that you have to race or not race. But the people who we've brought in under that turn out wanting to come to that Egyptian Cup regatta for the first time. We traveled 9 teams last year to the Egyptian Cup, and this year we're probably going to travel more teams and have more racing teams from our club traveling than we are the host club. And it's not because we were gung-ho and racing, it was because we showed them a pathway that got them into it, and they turned out that performance racing is nothing more than being able to handle your boats in close quarters, and oh, by the way, this is fun, it's not scary. So then they evolved into racing. So racing is a huge component of us, but it's also at the same time, we're very sensitive to the fact that the idea of racing scares people away. But at the end of the day, we've massaged that well to the point where even the people who never saw themselves racing 5 years ago are now traveling to regattas.
That having fun comes first. Reaching out to educational organizations and youth organizations is a great way to find people to help build your fleets.
Yeah. What Angie just said there is our sister club at Carlisle is we have a little smackdown thing. We have a little simple weightlifting belt that we put sparkly things on, and just a creative way of encouraging people to travel in a fun way, making it so that it's not intimidating. But our fleet, we travel a lot. We have competitive racers, and what that really does is that helps. It makes us better sailors when you travel to regattas, and that helps us teach people better and show people the right way to do things and sail even faster.
Do you have any suggestions for clubs that don't have a physical presence on the lake, like no clubhouse, no pavilion, no running water?
Yeah,
I mean,
look at us.
I can run the lasers,
Yeah.
but what do you do with them?
Well, I mean, are we at Clinton Lake who operate out of a pavilion in a grossly underutilized? It's a tiny little dock and a little pavilion. Are we much further from that? We're definitely steps ahead. But people aren't going there for the pavilion or the dock. They're going there for the sailing programs. We're making sure that stays that way. I mean,
You can have a sailing program without that.
how much does a 10 by 10 little awning cost? No real estate? Is there a parking lot? Porta potties? Those are considerations. But I'm betting that at the lake, if you're on a public lake or park or they have some type of bathroom facilities. I'm betting that you can meet in a parking lot and put a little sign or a magnetic thing on your door and say, "Meet me at my van." I'm betting there's some creative. You laugh, but I would do it. That does sound kind of weird, but.
Maybe something you wanted to leave.
Why does it say ice cream on the sign? Yes.
Tin can aluminum runabout, and that's what we use for running our races. We go to different lakes all the time. It's all organized by each.
Moraine Sailing Club, up just north of Pittsburgh. They operate on this public park. I don't think they own the pavilion that they meet at in any way. So I mean, they're a bigger club, so they have a dock and they have dock space there. So I think if you want it, you can find some creative ways to do it.
Local marinas often are excited to help out.
Yep.
Our city rents us a little shed. That's all we have.
Your city rents you a little shed? That's cool.
Have you been targeting any age demographics?
Yes, so it's interesting that you bring that up because this is also a topic for debate. I'm going to go after the most high probability targets, okay? My time is very limited, okay? My time is limited because I own my own business and those types of things. I can't operate a complete learn to sail program, okay? And do all those things. I can't do other things I want to do because I spend too much time sailing at regattas. But so we have to be very efficient in what we do. So we target adults. We target adults who can afford to buy boats, even though we are targeting anybody. We are going to target the demographics when our Facebook advertising in places where there are going to be people who are most likely to do it. We don't target to high school kids. We don't target to college kids. We target to people over 30, over 35 even, who have already had their little kids and are looking for things to do that are outside the house. It doesn't mean that we want to discriminate those people who in other age groups. Absolutely not. It's just that I know if I get someone on a boat, they're gonna come sail with me, and I know it's a high probability play. For the long term and the thing, would it be smart to focus on youth and those types of things? Yeah, but you're not going to see me spending my time on that. It's not that I don't support it, but I want to be spending my time on the highest probability for success. Yeah. Yeah. So thankfully, there's other people in the club, retired people at the club, who also do that. But if you're asking me, I'm going to focus on the high probability play, and I specifically target the people who are most likely to sail, not most likely to join the club and not sail.
people, and so the clubs that focus so much on their club, their lake, their pier, I guess, and aren't open to some of this other travel, I feel like you're keeping yourself too narrow.
I think so too. It's funny you mention that because when I first started sailing, my vision of the club, it was amazing. 3 boats, 4 boats, yeah. But then traveling to one regatta, one design regattas where there's 20 or 30 boats, it spoiled me, right? So I guess it's how you look at it. And in terms of traveling to regattas and traveling to other places and sailing different boats, yes, go and travel. Yes, get on different boats. Yes, sail with different people. All of those things are going to make you better. You're going to have more fun. You're going to get a different perspective. It's going to enhance your entire sailing experience, absolutely.
Well, first it was very inspiring. I think that there's a huge need for getting the word out to people who wouldn't normally think there was an opportunity for sailing, that it is very accessible and tons of fun and within reach if you have the energy to get out there and make it happen.
Then,
So how do you get other people to see or buy into the vision?
well, for starters, have you ever heard anyone talk about this vision before? Talk about it. Explain to people and help them understand. Even the people who were in that vision, didn't initially believe in it until we started talking about it and came to that conclusion and bought in. Once we bought in and saw how it was working, everyone's bought in, believe me, okay? But it's just talk about it, make it clear, and remind people about it. And when people start spending a lot of time talking about things that aren't related to getting sailors on the water and those types of things, and you start seeing yourself distracted, when you start seeing yourself distracted, you start coming up with all these goofy ideas. That's my job, by the way. To do things that aren't related to sailing, step back and remind yourself, smack yourself on the hand and say, we measure success by getting boats on the water. We measure success by getting boats on the water.
One of my key takeaways with Eric's presentation was that you need to have people get into the boat, get onto a boat, and get excited about what you're excited about, which is being out on the water.
I think having the leadership, you got to have someone. You got to have 1 or 2 leaders, right? And if you have the leadership, you're naturally going to do the leadership thing where you go and you spread the word, you remind people, you help people, you remind them, even if you have to debate and argue just a little bit. You know what? We need to keep this a priority. Yeah, maybe we should be a paddleboard club and raise a little bit more money for our club, but are we going to spend all our time developing a paddleboard program, or are we going to focus on the sailors? Those are the types of questions, and that's where your leadership is going to come in if you're a fleet builder.
In our club, we have both
But our time, unfortunately, is up, and I know we could talk about this type of stuff for hours, and I certainly can. I really do appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys inspired an idea or two. That's my email. If you can read it, eric@ericbussell.com. If wheels are turning on the way home and you start getting ideas and you start wanting to talk about it, shoot me an email. I will respond, and I'll help in any which way I can. So thank you so much.